Good morning, it's 4:37. Farm News. Hopefully you heard last Friday before you raced to your County Farm Service Agency office that USDA is extending the deadline to reallocate base acres and update yields until March 31st. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack told farmers at Commodity Classic the extension was mainly in response to southern producers who are having a more difficult time understanding reallocation because of the way cotton acres are converted to generic base acres. On his announcement, the audience broke into applause.
It is a good thing. You know, we had a lot of registers already going in county offices about people who had tried to get in and couldn't. Certainly, farmers have waited, and they're going to wait until March 31st to make the decision on ARC and PLC, too. But he is now giving that deadline. All four of those deadlines will indeed be March 31st.
My home area in Meagher County and back in our area, they had last week 93%. But some of the staff people are in some counties that are only one or two people there trying to do all this work. They were the ones that were having trouble. So, and you know, there's always some people that just leave it go to the last 5 seconds, it seems like. But I think we have an extension here, but I would not plan on an extension with a sign up for the farm program of ARC PLC.
That will still be a difficult time. You got every ag economist in the country saying, don't sign up till March 31st because you'll know more about the prices then than you will now. And yet you've got USDA saying, well, gosh, you got to get in there and do it. We can't all wait till the last day.
I was at a meeting last week where one of the extension agents in my home state of Wisconsin had a pretty complicated spreadsheet. Corn was about cost of production with numbers put in that he put in. Beans were penciling $50 an acre profit. So all else being equal, what I'm hearing from farmers this year is I think we're going to switch a little more over to beans. Or I'm going to start selling some beans. It looks like that's the lesser of two costs. And so farmers love to grow corn, but I think, you know, dollars will talk. And right now it really, I think, points to more beans. And so you could look at a 5% reduction in corn acres, which equates to about 3 to 4 million acres of corn. Start taking, you know, 150 bushel yield, very simple round numbers. That's 600 million bushels less in production that we may not just have on acreage loss alone. So all of a sudden that picture in corn could look really exciting, but right now there's, you know, we're just at a time of year where it's in limbo yet.
Vilsack says roughly 60% of people who need to make decisions on base acres have done so, and the ARC PLC decision farmers must make by March 31st will not be extended. Vilsack says it would be like parents telling kids they have another week to do their homework. He adds that the USDA will continue to monitor the ARC PLC enrollment right up to the end to see if an extension is needed. Emerado, North Dakota farmer Jared Hagert says although there is uncertainty regarding the most profitable crops to grow, for agronomic reasons, he's sticking to his basic crop rotation.
We're continuing with our rotation, not really changing it up too much between spring wheat, soybeans, dry beans, and corn, but maybe a little less corn acres. But once we get that rotation going, you know, here at the USB booth, we've been talking about our take action on weed resistance this week, all week long, and rotation is part of that. Not only modes of action, but sites of action within those chemistry profiles. So it's about really taking the time to take a good hard look at what we're applying and what strategies we can utilize to maximize those profit opportunities.
Jared's currently the vice chairman of the United Soybean Board. It's 4:41, time now for Iron Monday, the latest machinery news. In farming, autonomous is not just for small aircraft. Here's a look at the driverless tractor and grain cart system from Kinze.
There's still been a lot of conversation about the Kinze autonomy system, which is the truly driverless tractor and system that we've had on our Kinze grain carts to ease, you know, some of the labor issues that we've got out there and make sure that harvest stays efficient.
That's been out for how many years now?
We're in our third season with that, and this year the challenge to us at Kinze was multiple machines in the same field. Hey, I've got a larger size field. I want to run 2 combines and 2 grain carts, so that's what we've done. And what that allows the combine operators to do is when they push the button in the cab that says, hey, it's time for me to unload, the closest cart to them will be there as quickly as possible and take the most efficient path back to the truck.
This autonomy of machines and having machines coordinate with one another, you're on the cutting edge of that, aren't you?
Yes, Kinze was the first to release the fully autonomous system here several years ago, and it really has come a long way, and as we add multiple machines, we're seeing greater and greater impact. Certainly can be adapted to many different tractors of different sizes. Right now, we've simply matched that horsepower to the grain carts that are being used in the field demonstrations.
All right, what size grain carts are available?
1,000, 1,100 bushel, 1,300 bushel, and 1,500 bushel sizes. The website, Mick, is kinze.com, Kinze.com.
And more exciting information on autonomous systems to come from Kinze. All right, it's 4:43. Right after the break, we're going to check the weather. Next couple of days, lots of wind as the full moon sinks slowly in the west. We're starting on what should be a breezy, chilly day.